So welcome to another, what will be a very short format, wargame review from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today I'm just talking about a couple little literal postcard games that I've played recently. Played them solitaire, and just just wanted to share what my experience with these are, and postcard games more broadly. Because I think this is one of those things that could be very cool for people, but also is something that we didn't discover until a couple, years into wargaming that this is a little thing that you it's just kind of you can get a hold of. So specifically today, I'm going to talk about Morgans Are Comin' and The Union Forever. And these are published by Against the Odds magazines, and typically you get these for free with a purchase of a magazine, or they'll slide one into a game. I actually got both of these from a vendor at Buckeye Game Fest in 2025, because he has a bunch of them, because they just you get them and you pick them up, and he was just if you bought a game, he was just giving them out for free as well. So I have played other postcard games in the past, some also from Against the Odds. I actually have one of them right here. It was called Operation Cerberus, I believe. I've actually played that one before, funnily enough, a few years ago. But what is a postcard game? A postcard game quite literally is a war game on a postcard. There's a little piece for a stamp and for an address that you could just mail this to someone. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut out the counters that go around the edge. And then you've got this tiny little board with a little, a turn track on it, and your little point-to-point movement map on it. And on the back are the rules in a couple columns. You want to take a picture of this or photocopy this, because once you put the board down and have the pieces on it, you can't refer to the rules. The rules are not very complex, but you just want to, there's two edge cases at the end of here's the special little rules, because most of the other stuff you have to bring to this game. So this is a diceless system that a lot of these postcard games designed by Paul Rohrbaugh use. It's a system he actually implements in a lot of his games over at his company, High Flying Dice. And basically, you will need a deck of playing cards. It's funny, all my playing cards are at my desk at work, where I play these on my lunch break. And the deck of playing cards, there'll be rules of how to set it up. Some it's remove some of the face cards, or include the jokers, and there's a few different nuances to those. And basically going to shuffle those, and you're going to flip through them, and that's going to be your randomizer, right? So instead of rolling dice, you're going to flip a card, and it's going to be if it's red or blue, it's this person's turn. If it's odds and evens, they get to do X or Y. If it's a face card, they'll get to try this special action, right? It's an initiative system, it's a randomizer, it's all sorts of different things like that. Because when you get into combat, flip a card, plus that number, plus what modifiers, did you hit this thing, or did you hit under this thing, right? That you have to bring a deck of cards to this, and the Union Forever was hey, you'll also need a couple of pennies or cubes to keep track of how much territory you've basically taken as the Union. This one, Morgans Are Comin', I don't think it needed anything extra, because it has a couple of admin markers in it, and it's just about moving around, accruing victory points, and you're going to track your points on a track as well. So you get this. You can either cut out the bits for the playing pieces, or the other option you have, if you contact Against the Odds, you can pay a couple bucks, and you would do this whilst you're ordering something else from them. They will send you die cut, a little strip of die cut counters of these. When I was buying games, and these were given to me as part of that, he had a couple and that's why I chose to play these ones, because Morgans Are Comin' and Union Forever had those sets of counters. The rest of these didn't. So I've got here Operation Cerberus, which is the interception of the Gneisenau and Scharnhorst in the English Channel, or the attempted. Then we've also got No Men But Devils, which is the Battle of Camerone, 1863, which is part of the French Mexican conflict. I don't really know enough about it, but I haven't really looked at that one. We've got here La Gare de Recul, which is a Waterloo game, a little small attack at Waterloo. And then Nothing So Well Lost, The Siege of Rhodes 1522, which is like a siege-based game, so that might be interesting. Whereas like the Waterloo is a little hex encounter game, right? So you also have very different types of games in these within the bounds of what you can get onto a postcard. Are these the most deepest, most richest games in the whole world? No. Are they supposed to be? Also no. Did I have fun playing both of these? Yes, and that's really the important part of these. And it's not like, oh, go online and seek these out, but this is more of a recommendation of if you're buying something from Against the Odd magazine, or if you know, if you have an opportunity where someone's got stacks of these, don't overlook them. Keep an eye out and keep this in your mind so that when you see it, it's like, oh yeah, oh, let me try one of those. And you have little 15 minutes of fun at a time where you wouldn't otherwise be engaging in wargaming. And isn't that really what the goal is to have wargaming take over every aspect of our lives and squeeze it into every conceivable minute that we're alive? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing here. So, The Union Forever, we'll talk about this one, because this was the first one I played. I really, really liked this game. It was very cool. And I played both of these solo at my desk. Like, you could play these two player, but like, there's almost not enough there. Like, I would play something else. But like, to push some counters around and flip some cards and, you know, do it all whilst I'm in between meetings, definitely on my lunch break. It's a fun little thing to like occupy your time, right? So the Union Forever, basically, you have the entirety of the CSA territories, and then the Union's kind of this blue band up here off map. And they basically just have to like march onto the map and take everything. That's the reality of what they have to do, to defeat as many armies as they can and take as much territory as they can. And if they do that, the CSA morale will plummet. And as long as they can keep the Anaconda blockades intact, that morale is very difficult for it to go back up. It's very difficult to keep that blockade intact, but you know, you have to commit to that. So it's really, again, this is a little bit of a one-sided thing. The CSA is going to play very defensively, it's going to be very passive, which is again why I kind of recommend this as a two-player game. As a solitaire game, two-player, this one probably won't be very fun. I don't think this Morgan's Comin would be either, but what are you going to do? It's not to say that you couldn't, it's to say that like the CSA gets wailed on and they will just stand and be static and defensive. There's opportunities for counterattack. You'll do one, maybe two in the whole game, and it's like, it works great as a solitaire game because you're like, cool, we're going to have like, it's very easy to figure out, hey, we're going to make stalwart defenses here, we're going to retreat, we're going to try to reinforce, or we're going to retreat and reinforce back here. To do that intelligently, whilst you as the Union player are really trying to attack and like figure out how to break some of this, because the CSA is very strong, especially early, mid-game. What happens is it's so strong, and eventually if you can get them, it kind of, you get that drop off and it can be pretty rapid, but you're against the clock. So even though they're in rapid decline, you still have to get it done. But those first few years, it is, you will not do a lot. At least it didn't feel like. Maybe I got bad card pulls or dice rolls, but good gracious, it was like, But that was fun. It was a fun, engaging game. It wasn't easy. It was a challenge, and it was a really good time. So that was really fun. I had a really good time with the Union Forever. Morgan's A Coming is a neat little game, sort of point-to-point movement game, and it's specifically about Morgan and his outriders and their raids into Ohio, and they also, you know, had a very small excursion into Indiana. There you go. But this one's a little bit different because it's like, you have a stack of guys and you're going around trying to raid places, pick up victory points, but then also run off the other edge of the map. I found this one to be a little more challenging, because Morgan's the proactive side, right? He's out there doing stuff. So when I play a solitaire game, typically I will try to play the proactive side, and we'll have the defenders, it's usually more straightforward what they should be doing, right? Stack in places where there's lots of victory points, and then send out, you know, counterattacks where it's reasonable and responsible, or you know, you flip the die and you say, they're going to go all out and like be very risky, but you only do that, you know, once or twice maybe. But this one was very challenging, but it's a little bit more. I didn't think this one was as good. I really liked the history behind it because I'd read a lot about this in Shelby Foote's Civil War narrative, and it was cool to play a game on something that you would otherwise not really have a game on. But I think the Union Forever as a postcard game was a more solid entry. But Morgan's A Comin' was really neat to kind of play around with, at least. And they had the cute little counters, which again I appreciate, because when you cut them out of the card, like it's very thin. You can do it, there's nothing wrong with that, but I liked having the little counters. I have played this Operation Cerberus a few years ago. I didn't, there's not enough there for me on this one. It was like, they move along and you're just trying to intercept them and then they get away. And it's like, okay, cool. There's just not enough there for me game-wise. But I'm interested in the Waterloo one, A Siege of Rhodes, and then I really know nothing about this 1863 No Men But Devils. So I will probably play it as a point of interest because I don't know. But I guess these are just fun little things. I've been playing them recently. And again, just keep your eyes out because you probably have a bunch of these like in your magazines kicking around, or if you're buying stuff, a lot of vendors at trade shows like will have these kicking around. We've bought games secondhand and you just like find one in the box of something. So just like keep an eye out. You can go, I think you can go online and like order a bunch of these, but I'm sure if you call them up and be like, hey, I'm buying a magazine, can I get a few of these things? They're gonna hook you up, I would presume. That's very presumptive of me, but this is a loss leader, right? These are printed and they're fun and they're cute, but it's like a free thing that goes in a magazine, right? They're not making the money off of these. But that's just to say, don't overlook them, because you never know. A couple of them, really fun, you're gonna have a good time. A couple of them wasn't for me, and a couple of them really interesting and curious to try them out. But that's what you're getting from these postcard games. And sometimes I think about, oh, good gracious, what was it called? I don't remember now, and I feel bad about it. But like some of these games then get beefed up and like they turn into other things. And so it's cute to see kind of where these come from. There was one about, it was in GMT. The most recent, I think it was the most recent GMT issue to come out. And it had the, oh, they're gonna kill me. We even did a video on it. But there was a game in there, and it was about the Spanish marching up basically through the Swiss Confederation and then into France. And that had originally started as a postcard game, is my understanding of it. And it had become this like, you know, this fold out, I think it was a 17 by 12 board, and like it was like an actual fold out free game in a magazine. Like they can become something else, but that's just to say it's like fun to see these little things and fun to like have it at your desk, because anyone can have these at your desk. It's literally this big. You have a little deck of cards and you get to experience, even in a small fraction, a little piece of history, a little piece of military, a little piece of power dynamic and struggle that you wouldn't otherwise have kind of engaged with at a time where I'm bored out of my mind at work, right? So just wanted to kind of put this little video out there. Look for these where you can. Some of them are really fun. The Union Forever was a good time. I really liked it. Morgan's Comin' was interesting. Maybe not so good, but I got some other ones here that I'm very interested in that I will kind of get to the table and kind of let you know how they are. I have, in my brain, been contemplating doing a little playthrough of the Union Forever, so we'll see if I actually get to that. So please, if you want to see that, let me know in the comments. But either way, appreciate you tuning in for a light video about the Union Forever and Morgan's A Comin', and more broadly, these little postcard games. Go check them out. But appreciate you very much for tuning in. I've been Alexander for theplayersaid.com.